be familiar with Wesley Treat. If not, he is a YouTuber who's well known for making vintage American signage and bespoke lighting. Now, a while ago, he uploaded a video where he made a spaceship, not a real spaceship, but a sign in the shape of a spaceship. And I saw that and I thought, that looks good. I want to have a go at that. So, hence a big sheet of metal on the floor, I thought I'll have a go at it. Now, I've only recently got into metalwork, so I haven't really got any tools for it, but I thought I'll give it a go and see what happens. So, yeah. Now, like usual, I've got an idea, but I'm kind of making it up as I go along at the same time. So I'm going to start by cutting a couple of thin strips off the side, because that'll be what you wrap around the outside of the sign. I'm thinking 2 of those should hopefully be enough, and then I can see what I've got left as to what I do with it. So, yeah. Now, to cut this, I'm going to be using a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade in it, a fine tooth metal cutting blade. That's only 1mm steel. I'm sure this is going to sound absolutely delightful, but let's give it a go. Right, so that's the steel cut down to a more manageable size. Now, because the sign's going to be double-sided, I've put one piece of steel on top of the other. That way, when I cut them, they should, in theory, be identical. I'm sure they won't be by the end, but we can only hope. So the idea is I'm going to make a spaceship that looks something like that. So I've got 3 sections to it. I'm hoping that on my piece of steel, if I put the main body of the spaceship at an angle, then the bits in the corners there, I can cut out separately later. I'm not quite sure how to draw this out, so I'm going to give it some thought and I'll get back to you. Right, well, using the string line there, I've managed to get a nice curve going, so I like the look of that, so I'm thinking I'll cut that out. And what I cut off on one side, I'll use as a template to mark on the other side. Now, I've gone around and added 2 centimetres to the shape all the way around because I want to add some tabs to fold up to give me something to attach to. So yeah, next thing to do is cut that out. Right, well, that's the main body cut out. Now, before I go on and make the tail fins, I want to make sure that this section actually works. So the next step is to make the tabs on it. So I've left 2 centimetres around the outside to make the tabs from. So I need to now cut a load of slots in there. So I'm probably going to cut a slot every 5 centimetres because as you fold that up, it's bigger on the outside than it is on the fold line. So it needs somewhere for that material to go. So if I cut a little V out of it, like I say, every 5 centimetres, that'll hopefully give me a nice smooth curve around the outside and give me loads of tabs so I can actually fix it in place. So it's going to take me absolutely ages cutting that lot out, so I won't bother recording it. So I'll see you in a bit once I've got the tabs cut. Right, well, that's all the tabs cut out. I decided to go for 10 centimetre tabs instead of the 5 centimetres because they just looked a bit small. I'm hoping that won't cause me problems in the future. But now for the next step, which is to bend them. So this is a bit where it'll either go really well or go horribly wrong. So right. There we go, that went well. So I'll get the other one done off camera, and then we can move on to putting the edge around this. Right, well, that's the main body all bent up now, so I'm on to attaching the pieces together. So I took one of the strips that I cut initially, and I've drilled holes down it every 10 centimetres to give me something to fix through. I also put a bend at the very top there, so that should hopefully line up nicely to my shape that I've created on the floor there. So for fixing them together, I initially thought of using rivets, but my rivets are aluminium and they'll probably react with the steel, so I thought that's not a good idea. Now I did contemplate welding through the holes to tack it together, but I'm not terribly good at welding and that'll make a mess. So I thought, screw it. I'm going to use screws. So I've got some self-drilling screws, so that's the plan. So I've got that raised up on a little bit of plywood, so hopefully it should give a nice transition. So yeah, let's try screwing this together. Well, that's not the greatest, but that'll do. So now for the real challenge, to get the other side in. Well, that didn't go too badly and it's starting to look the part. Now I should have gone with the 5cm tabs rather than 10cm tabs because it is a little bit angular around the edge, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's my first attempt, so I think it's pretty good for that. So the next thing I need to work out is for the tail fins. Right, well that's the offcuts laid out, so now just to work out what I'm going to do with it. Now I'm going to do it like last time, I'm just going to do what feels right, but I'm thinking something probably like that might look good. Obviously I've got to add the overlap for that, so I'll mark that out, cut that up, and yeah, see where we go from there. Well, I did really want to finish this today, but unfortunately that saw blade is just getting too blunt and I haven't got any spares. So once I get back from the shops, it's going to be too late to finish tonight, so I shall pick this up another day. Right, well it's about a week later and I've just got done finishing the tabs off on the fins here. Now I realise I didn't actually record any of that, but it's not a problem because it's basically the same as what I did on there. I used a piece of wood and just hammered the tabs up after I cut them. The ones in the corner here were a bit of a problem because obviously that's quite a small gap to get a piece of wood into. I did my best. This one here, you can see it's actually quite rounded rather than these that have a much neater angle. But yeah, let's put them in and see how things look. Well, there we go, that's the tail fins on, and I think that looks pretty good. Considering this is my first attempt at metalwork like this, I am really impressed with how well I've done. Now, obviously there are some dodgy angles in there, but it wasn't about the end product, it was about learning the process, and I've learnt the process now, I've done it, I can see how I can improve on it, and I might make another one in the future, but for now I'm going to stick with this one. Now I'm going to put this up in the garden. I've got no idea how I'm going to display this, but yeah, I'll show you what it looks like when it's in place. Well, there we go, I've got it up in the garden. It looks wildly out of place, but I absolutely love it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It was an experience making this, and it's going to be a while till I make anything else like this. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last. Obviously, it's galvanised metal, but where I've cut it, I've not protected any of the edges. So it is going to rust, but I'm just going to wait and see how quickly it rusts. If it doesn't rust too badly, I might just paint it. We'll see. But for now, I shall see you later. So I'm sure you're going to want to know how I managed to get the sign in and get it spinning. So I've got this offcut of 20mm conduit here, which I've reinforced with some rebar. I've then drilled a bolt through up here. That is basically blocking the pipe off so things won't fall through. I've then got a couple of marbles that I'm just dropping down the hole. So I'm not losing my marbles, they are in this pipe here. I've then got an offcut of 15mm copper pipe. That just makes that gap a little bit smaller. And then we've got this metal bracket here with a bolt going through it, so that is now resting on the top of those marbles, and that makes a beautiful bearing there. So that is what's making it spin. Now obviously I'm in the past, you've seen the sign finished. I'm currently working out how to get that bracket inside, and I'm currently battling with jaws here, hoping it doesn't bite my arm off. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you left it a like, and I shall see you later.